There's an interview with Demitrius Andrade. I guess we could call him a former titleist and now highly ranked contender in the light middleweight division. Very interesting interview with him on boxingscene.com. I'll leave a link to the interview in the description below. And he's talking about all kinds of things. He's talking about the death of Muhammad Ali. He's talking about pros in the Olympics. And he's for pros in the Olympics. Incidentally, he likes the idea of pros in the Olympics, but he don't like the idea of amateurs not wearing headgear. And as far as his own division, the 154-pound division, he's calling out everybody. He's calling out Liam Smith. He's calling out Canelo, if Canelo decides to fight at 154 again. He's calling out the Charlo twins. He's calling out Lara. And he's also calling out the middleweight champion, Gennady Golovkin. Oh, yeah. He's another guy now. We've had Erislandy Lara, and now we've got Demetrius Andrade calling out Golovkin. He says he's not afraid. He says, I'm going to quote directly here. He says, I definitely want to fight Golovkin. Let me build myself up first by cleaning out the 154-pound division, and then we'll have a mega fight with two different styles. GGG is known for his knockouts. I knock people out too, but I'm a better boxer than him. It'll be one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. I'm going to clean up the 154 division, make my reputation, then I'll go at it with GGG. So he's not quite as gung-ho as Erislandy Lara, because Erislandy Lara has been saying he wants to fight GGG right now. Whereas Andrade is saying, I want to clean up my division. And when I've cleaned up my division, then I'll move up and have a big fight with Gennady Golovkin. And there's a lot of people who I've noticed saying, why should Golovkin fight Lara? Let Lara prove himself at middleweight, which is, kind of an interesting argument that they're making for a guy who, actively was pursuing fights with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, smaller fighters. And now they're saying, and, he wasn't expecting those guys to have to prove themselves. But yet there's people who are saying Lara has to prove himself to be able to get a fight with Golovkin. I don't really understand the argument. But either way, we've got Demetrius Andrade, who I do think has more potential to become a pay-per-view fighter, possibly, than Lara, because Demetrius Andrade is obviously an American citizen, speaks English and all that. So he's much more marketable than somebody like Erislandy Lara. And although Demetrius Andrade is a slick southpaw like Lara, he's got more power. He's bigger, and he's, from what I've seen anyway, so far in his career, he is more punishing than Lara. Lara is more of an all-out slickster with little tiny moments of aggression, whereas Demetrius Andrade really punishes people far more so. And the very interesting thing about Andrade, correct me if I'm wrong, he's very tall for the weight. I believe he's like 6'1", 6'2", and, very slick and moves well. Nice, smooth, fluid movement. So with that kind of size and those kind of dimensions and very long arms, he's going to be a difficult guy to beat at 154 pounds. I would like to see him face the Charlo brothers. Those are definitely fights I would like to see. The Lara fight, not so much. Two slick southpaws. Although, Lara against Trout weren't even good. weren't even a good fight. I was gonna say that fight weren't bad, but no. So two slick southpaws. Sometimes two slick southpaws can make a good fight. It can surprise you, but I wouldn't put too much money on Lara versus Andrade being that good. But I'd certainly like to see Andrade against the Charlo brothers. Andrade against Canelo, definitely, and I'd 100% pick Andrade to beat Canelo. And Andrade against GGG. In a year's time or whatever, if GGG's still at 160, he might not be. GGG might have moved up by then. At the end of the day, Golovkin's goal, he's always said this, is to get all the belts. So he don't really care about who he fights as long as he gets the belts. Maybe he'll have all the belts by next year. And we'll see where that goes. As you all know, I rate GGG highly. And again, if these people like Canelo and whatnot are not going to fight him, then I don't see why he shouldn't take on people like Lara. You got to take on who's there, who's willing to actually fight. And Lara's certainly better than some of the guys GGG has been fighting lately. So I'd rather see him fight those guys than, see him fight these nondescript people like the Dominic Wades of the world. That's just my personal view. Again, some people take it as though I'm having a go at GGG or this, that and the other. I'm just frustrated and want to see him fight better opposition because I think he's that good. I've stated before, and I'll state here again, I think GGG will go down as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. That's my personal feeling. I don't see him as a fraud or anything like that. I think he's the real deal. But that's just my opinion, and time will tell, and we'll find out for sure if that's the case or not. So, anyway, let me know what you think about this, people. Demitrius Andrade, what do you think about him as a fighter? How do you see him matching up against the other guys at 154? The Charlo brothers, Erislandy Lara, Canelo possibly if he drops down, Liam Smith. And how do you think he would do against GGG? Drop it all below, people. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.